Hi, my name is Cleopatra. This video is in response to discussion board number 3. The full prompt is below in the description box. Basically, this is me giving advice to grandma to ways to stay hydrated and how to avoid dehydration. So first, I've divided this into about 4 sections. The first one is what is dehydration. This is because I think it's important to understand what that state is in order to address it. So dehydration is when we are losing more water than we're taking in. Seniors are more likely to be dehydrated and not realize it just because the sensitivity to the thirst sensation decreases as we get into our elderly years. Also, some of the medication that they may be taking could be diuretics. A diuretic means that it causes you to lose fluid. So water can be lost through evaporation on the skin, through sweat if it's hot or if you're active, and then also just through waste in the body, feces, urine, that sort of thing. What are the symptoms and health concerns when it comes to dehydration? Some physical signs where you can easily tell if you're dehydrated is if you have dry lips or dry mouth, if your eyes are a little bit sunken in a more extreme case. Those are signs that you are thirsty and it's time to consume some more water. Some other feelings that you may feel while dehydrated are fatigue, headaches, dizziness. Particularly in elderly, there may be some loss of cognitive functions, muscle spasms, seizures in some extreme cases. Why is dehydration important? So water plays a really big role in the body. One of the things is it helps with nutrient transport. So we know that some vitamins are water soluble. So in order for us to be able to absorb those water soluble vitamins, we need water. And also transporting other minerals and nutrients around the body, we need water to do that as well. We also need it to regulate our body temperature. So if we don't have the appropriate amount of water in our bodies, we won't be able to maintain that optimal temperature that our body functions at. We also use it to regulate nerve impulses and also to excrete waste. So through the digestive system, we are pulling in more water into the large intestine as it's going through that process to the colon and to be excreted. We need fluid for that portion of the digestive system. So how do we stay hydrated? The recommended daily amount of water to take in for women is 2.7 liters and for men is 3.7. So I would recommend 2.7 to grandma, and one of the ways you can do that is by carrying around a water bottle. If grandma is active, I would definitely recommend this. If she goes out of the house often, she can fill this up so that when she's thirsty and she's outside of the house, she doesn't have to start looking for water, because then that's how you throw it off to the side. It's like, I don't have time for this, and it's easier to ignore if you don't have water readily available. So that's one way you can increase the amount of water you're having. Also in the morning, especially for elderly people, I would definitely recommend having some hot tea, so maybe an herbal tea or just some lemon water, so that you're starting off your day with some fluids. Another thing that can be done is to consume foods that have a high amount of water. So the ones that I would recommend, because these are common foods that you can just get in a grocery store, most people eat them often, cucumbers, celery, tomatoes, watermelon, cantaloupe, all these have a good amount of water. And so if for some reason grandma is, struggling to drink plain water, that's a way that she can get some more water in. And then one thing that I personally do that I think other people have tried and liked is to try infusing water with some fruits. There's some great recipes online, like lemon and cucumber, strawberry, orange, and basil. Like, you can get really creative with it, just leaving it overnight in a water bottle or like an infuser, and the water tastes great. It's a lot easier to drink at that point if you're having trouble with drinking plain water. Another thing that we should be concerned about when it comes to dehydration, I forgot to mention, is your electrolyte balance. So when we lose water from the body, we're also losing electrolytes, your sodium, calcium, potassium, magnesium. Those also get lost throughout the body, and when you're in a state of dehydration, it's also important to consider that you may be lacking some electrolytes. And so there are many electrolyte supplements out there, but I'm definitely an advocate for getting all of our nutrients, or as many nutrients as we can from the food that we take in. So some foods that I would recommend to grandma to include in her diet so that she's maintaining her electrolytes and having enough water: spinach, kale, some bone broth, avocados, almonds. Those all have good amounts of either sodium, potassium, magnesium, or calcium. Also milk for calcium, but that also depends on whether grandma is lactose intolerant or not. And so those would be my advice to grandma.